Today we are going to start by watching a clip from this video right here. This video, as you can see, it's from April 23rd of 2021 this year. Has over 500,000 views, called Nobody Needs This Much House. And it's from a YouTuber, Twitch streamer by the name of Hassan Abi, also known as Hassan Piker. Some people have referred to him exclusively as Jank's nephew. As you can see, has 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think he's more popular than that on Twitch. But I think it might be fair to say that this guy is the internet's favorite communist, or at least favorite communist, depending on how, depending on where you align politically. You might see all communists as scum of the earth.
You're goddamn right.
Anyway, let's check out a short clip from this video. Nobody needs this much house.
So we have a two.
I feel like this guy. First, I was gonna be like, "Why is he yelling?" And then I realized, like, "Oh shit! It's because the house is massive, dude."
Massive house.
Look at the height of this. I'm 6'2". How high are these two?
He said the house can sense poor people and will automatically eject them. Yeah, it just immediately subjugates the poors into a lifetime of slavery. You walk in and they're like, "Oh, come on." The house designates you as butler. It has biometrics for that. I just don't get it. It's like not inviting or welcoming at all. You literally, it looks like a super villain lair. Motherfuckers are literally living in their doo-doo down the street. Like there's
People are living in their doo-doo.
There's homeless people everywhere.
There are homeless people everywhere, you guys.
In Los Angeles, this guy built a
In Los Angeles.
down the street. Like there's just homeless people everywhere in Los Angeles. This guy built a $500 million mansion, dude. Absolutely insanity, dude. This is like, it's just, there's no utility.
There's no social utility, you guys. This guy, he spends $500 million on a big house. Meanwhile, there are homeless people living in their own doo-doo on the streets. Now, you might be wondering, some of you guys watching right now might be wondering, why am I watching this? Why am I bringing this up? This random-ass video from a few months ago. And here's why. Because recently, this very Twitch streamer, he's been in the news. According to this article at Kotaku, people are losing their shit because a socialist streamer bought a house. Hassan Piker bought a house in West Hollywood, and now it's a whole thing. And as you can see, the writer of this article says, "Truly we live in times. Whataboutism marches on unchecked. The whataboutism still rages. Just yesterday, someone made a whataboutism threat outside the Library of Congress calling for a whataboutism." Okay, real talk. Enough with the sarcasm. I actually have not heard much about that last story. Kind of got a point there, but climate change marches on unchecked. The pandemic still rages. This writer, as you'll see, they talk as if no one's talking about these issues. Especially the pandemic. Has anyone gone, over the last year and a half, has anyone gone a day or a week thinking to themselves, you know what? It's odd. I have not heard anything about the pandemic. I totally forgot that coronavirus was a thing. Has anyone honestly thought that lately? Especially climate change. Can't go a week without some warmonger talking about how we're all doomed because of climate change. You guys see what climate change did this time? You guys see this? You guys hear what's going on in Afghanistan? You guys hear that the Taliban has taken back Afghanistan? And you know who really is to blame for that? You know who's to blame for the Taliban taking back Afghanistan? Climate change. As you can see right here, CBS News, how climate change helped strengthen the Taliban. So again, Taliban taking back, these mystic thugs who want to impose their version of religious law on people and spread it. The reason why they got strong was because of climate change. But as the writer of this article goes on, and today some people are freaking out because a socialist Twitch streamer named Hassan Piker apparently bought a nearly $3 million house in West Hollywood. People are freaking out, you guys. Goes on to say, and so today Piker came under fire from both rival socialist personalities and the right-wing outrage machine. Now, I can maybe see socialists freaking out about this, because this is what socialists do. I mean, look, Hassan Piker himself does it. He looks at this isn't the only video he does this, where he finds some rich people and he freaks out, he loses his shit, and then feigns concern and compassion for the poor and the less fortunate. Here's another video. This has 200,000 views from December of last year. He reacts to the $6 million TikTok mansion that the internet loves to hate. I'll speed this one up.
Damn, hella people want himbo. I want this. I think this is gonna be better. I know better than you do.
The Wave House is to make unbelievable content for people to see like, wow, that's crazy.
I'm not trying to sound cringe, but I'm kind of making history.
Yeah, I know better than you. This is fucking excellent hate. This is great hate watching content.
Yeah, this guy loves to hate watch. He loves to lose his shit watching rich people enjoy their wealth. But now when he does it, when he buys a $3 million house in Los Angeles and socialists lose their shit, what did you expect? But as for me, I mean, a lot of people who are talking about this, they're not freaking out. They're not raging. They're not losing their shit. A lot of people just think this is really funny. As Sean Fitzgerald said, Marx in the streets, Frederick Hayek in the sheets. As Destiny said, he just said LOL. I mean, look at this. This is a house. It looks like it was built in 2014. 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms. Does anybody really need 5.5 bathrooms? 3,800 square feet, 6,600 square feet lots. The house is 3,800 square feet. So most people aren't freaking out. We just think it's really funny. You know what this is? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Joel Osteen. You guys remember Joel Osteen? He's this rich, popular Christian televangelist who makes millions of dollars. And for years, I've seen seculars, atheists, socialists, constantly talk about how Joel Osteen, he preaches a religion known as Christianity, which is all about altruism, sacrifice, giving up your money and property to the less fortunate. The meek shall inherit the earth. This quote, "Truly I tell you, it is hard for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." Meanwhile, a preacher of this exact religion lives in big $10 million houses. I mean, look at this. Big mansion, big swimming pool. Now, you might be able to argue that someone like Hassan, it's to a lesser degree. Okay, still the same principle. People who, like this guy who write this article and the other people who are defending Hassan Piker, I would ask, where's the social utility in spending $3 million on a house in Los Angeles when there are homeless people in Los Angeles? There are probably people that cannot afford health insurance, probably behind on medical debt, student loan debt, can't afford to eat. They're living on the street. Meanwhile, he's spending all this money on a $3 million. I mean, this guy does Twitch streams for a living. That's his career. Nothing wrong with that. But one could argue that, this big house that he claims he needs for his family, this big house, he could have a similar size house, even with a nice swimming pool. He could probably have a similar house in a place like Georgia or Texas or Nevada or Michigan for a fraction of the price, maybe at most $500,000. And all that money he's saving by not living in Los Angeles, he can just give away to charity. He could use to maximize social utility. But no, he has to selfishly live in Los Angeles. Piker is popular on Twitch not for just streaming games in the past, but more recently going off about politics from a distinctly leftist worldview. One time, Piker streamed with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Another time, he said that America deserved 9/11. You remember that incident, folks? You know why he said that? Because he was watching Congressman Dan Crenshaw talk about foreign policy on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he couldn't help himself but freak out and lose his shit and go on talking about how America deserved 9/11, saying fuck this about Dan Crenshaw. He eventually apologized. Can't help but wonder if that's the segment that won him the Streamy Award from YouTube for news in 2020. Depending on who you ask, he's either a radical communist trying to overthrow American democracy or a neoliberal sellout chasing clout with socialism-light talking points. I would say he's probably a communist who just sucks at living up to the principles that he spews, that he promotes. Article goes on to claim a socialist, it appears. I don't know, man. It's just flat out unethical to be profiting off of socialism and buying yourself a $3 million home in a state that has one of the highest homeless rates in the country. Activist Alexis Isabelt wrote on Twitter this morning. Meanwhile, sites like Breitbart have painted Piker as a hypocrite for believing billionaires should be banned while also buying a nice house. I mean, yeah, where's the line? There is no line because the line is completely arbitrary. Once you have that principle that, $1 billion, that's way too much, well, who's to say that $1 million is too much? Or that $100,000 is too much? Completely arbitrary line. Goes on to say right here, Piker, who's roughly 1.5 million Twitch followers and 500,000 active subscribers made the purchase possible, defended the price tag by pointing out that the Los Angeles housing market is in an absurd bubble and that he was tired of renting and needed a bigger place for his family and to stream out of. Again, couldn't he have bought a similar sized house in a much cheaper area and used the money he saved on maximizing social utility?
Blow it out your ass.
But also, why do you think housing is so freaking expensive in Los Angeles? I recently did a video about this. The reason why housing is expensive in places like Los Angeles and throughout California is because of regulation, namely environmental regulation that has been used to stop the developments of new housing, the building of new housing, along with other regulations that raise the cost of housing, of construction. You think a communist like Hassan Piker is going out there saying, "Whoa, my God, what we really need we need to free up the market here in California to meet the demand so that we can bring housing prices down." You think he's saying stuff like that?
Yeah, to the no, yeah, to the no, to the no, no.
Others have countered that there's a huge difference between buying a modest home and dropping a small fortune on a Hollywood mini mansion, but mostly it's an old and boring routine that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. Also going on to bring up how Bolshevik Bernie Sanders owns 3 homes and he came under scrutiny when he bought his 3rd vacation home for $600,000 using money that his wife inherited, which is a big deal because Bernie Sanders hates inheritance, which is why he's always trying to raise the inheritance taxes, which are already way higher than the Scandinavian countries that he claims to want to emulate. But it's mostly an old and boring routine that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. Well, to that I would say, this is what happens when you set these stupid rules and don't live up to them. And if it's this difficult for socialist knuckleheads to live by their own principles, then maybe it's time that they check their premises.